We are at Callan for Business, and
Mm-hmm.
we are at page 57.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me scroll down. 57. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and our last headword was writing a cover letter, numeric
Mm-hmm.
type of
Yes.
lesson.
Yes.
Okay, so let's start with revision. Okay, let me
Mm-hmm.
just scroll down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, page oh, overshoot. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
First question, 354. Okay, here we go. What do the following abbreviation mean and how are they used in business correspondence? What do the following abbreviation mean and how are they used in business correspondence? And ENCL
NaCl
means
means
enclose and
enclose
tells the reader
and
of
the
a
leader
letter
of a
that
letter
another
that
document
another
is
document
enclosed
is
with the
enclosed
letter.
with a
The
letter.
abbreviation
The
is often
abbreviation
placed
is
at the
often
bottom
placed
of the
at the
letter
bottom of the
and
letter
has the name
and refers the name
of the enclosed
of the
document
enclosed
after
document
it.
after it.
Very good. NB means okay,
And
NB
B and re means
nota bene,
not have any.
which
No, NB.
no,
NB. Nota
which
bene,
which is
which
Latin
is
and
Latin
Italian
and
for note
Italian.
well.
Or not
It
well.
is followed
It
by
is
a
followed
colon
by a
and it is
colon and
used
it
in less
is
formal
this
letters
formal
and
letter
emails
and
to
emails
indicate
to
that the
indicate that
information
the
after it
information
is
after
important.
it is important.
Very good. ASAP
ASAP
is a rather
as a
informal
rather
abbreviation
informal
for as
abbreviation
soon as
for
possible.
as soon as possible.
Very good. Last one. FYI.
FIY.
FYI
FYIY
means
means
for your
for
information
information
or for your
or for
interest
your
and
interest
is used
and
to
is
let the
used to
reader
let
of
the
an
reader
email
of the
know
email
that
know
they are not
that
expected
they are not
to
expected
send a
to
reply.
send a
It is
reply.
often
It
put
is
in the
open to
subject line
the
of the
subject
email.
line of the email.
Very good. In the banking and finance industry, what do consultants in the field of mergers and acquisitions do? In the banking and finance industry, what do consultants in the field of mergers and acquisitions do? In the banking
In the
and
in the
finance
banking and
industry,
finance industry,
consultants in the
consultants
field
in the
of
field
mergers
of the
and
mergers and
acquisitions act
acquisitions
as
act
specialists,
as specialists,
advisors when
advisors
companies
when the
merge,
companies
when
merge,
one company
when one
buys another,
company buys
or
another,
when a
or
takeover
when a
occurs.
takeover occurs.
Very good. When one company takes over another, are there often changes in the management personnel? When one company takes over another, are there often changes in the management personnel?
Mhm.
Yes. When
Yes,
one company
when one
takes
company
over
takes
another,
over
there
another,
are often
there are
changes
often
in the
changes
management
in the
personnel.
management personnel
Oh, very good. Why do you think this happens? Why do you think this happens? Because
because they have different type of management system.
excellent. Very good. Okay. Do you feel your money is safe when you transfer funds online? Do you feel your money is safe when you transfer funds online? Yes or no?
No,
I don't feel
I
my
don't
money is
feel
safe
my money is
when I
safe
transfer
when I
funds
transfer the
online.
funds online.
If your company was planning to transfer you abroad, which country would you prefer to be sent to? If your company was planning to transfer you abroad, which country would you prefer to be sent to? If my company
If my
was
company
planning to
was planning
transfer
to
me
transfer
abroad,
me
I'd
abroad,
prefer to
I
be
prefer
sent
to
to.
be sent to Switzerland.
Very good. In last question, which verb could we use instead of transfer? In the last question, which verb could we use instead of transfer? In the last question,
In the last
we could
question,
use the
we could
verb
use the verb
relocate instead
relocate
of
instead
transfer.
of transfer.
Very good. What do we mean by a liquid asset? What do we mean by a liquid asset? By a liquid
By a
asset,
liquid
we mean
asset,
an
we
asset
mean an
that can
asset
be
that
converted,
are,
that can be
can
converted
be converted
into cash
into
quickly
cash
without
quickly
losing much
without
of its
losing
value.
much of its value.
Very good. Does a portfolio of shares in the stock market have a high or low level of liquidity? Does a portfolio of shares in the stock market have a high or low level of liquidity? A portfolio
A
of shares
portfolio
in the stock market.
in the stock
One
market,
more. A portfolio of
a
shares
portfolio of
shares in the
shares
stock market
in the
has a
stock
high
market
level. Okay, one more.
level
A portfolio of
A
shares
portfolio of
in
shares
the stock market
in the stock
has a
market
high
has
level
a
of
high level of
liquidity.
liquidity.
Very good. Give me an example of the verb to act. Give me an example of the verb to act, please. The company
The
plans to
company
close
trans,
three.
trans,
Uh,
trans
one
to close
one more. The company plans
plans
to close
to
three
close
of its
three of
factories
its
and
factories
acts
and
over
acts
a
over
thousand
a
jobs.
thousand job.
Very good. Which measurement tells us how efficient a factory is? Output or productivity? Which measurement tells us how efficient a factory is? Output or productivity? Productivity tells
Productivity
us
tells
how
us
efficient
how
a factory
efficient a
is.
factory is.
Very good. What kind of things can cause a factory to have a low productivity? What kind of things can cause a factory to have a low productivity? The kind of
The
things
kind
that
of
can
things
cause
that
a
can
factory
cause a
to
factory
have low
to have low
productivity are
productivity,
badly
a
organized
badly
productions,
organized productions,
slow workers,
slow workers,
unreliable
and
machinery,
reliable machinery,
etc.
etc.
Very good. Okay, so that's so that's the end of our revision.
Hmm.
Okay, so let's continue. So you're writing a cover letter.
Hmm.
Okay, so but let's continue. Okay, here we go. What do we mean by a cover letter? What do we mean by a cover letter? By a cover
By a
letter,
cover
we
letter,
mean a
we
formal
mean
letter
a formal
that we
letter
send
that we
through
send
along with
through
our
along with
CV
our
when we
CV
apply
when we apply to a job
for a job.
for a job.
Very good. What are the three main reasons for writing a cover letter? What are the three main reasons for writing a cover letter? The three main
The three
reasons
main
for
reasons
writing a
for
cover
reading
letter
a cover
are
letter
to say
are
which
to
job
say which
we're
job
applying
we're
for
applying
to
for
persuade the reader
to persuade the reader
that our
that
CV
our
is
CV
worth reading
is worth
and
reading
to let them
and
know
to let them
our
know our
availability for an
availability
interview.
or an interview.
Well, what's the first piece of information we should put in a cover letter? What's the first piece of information we should put in a cover letter? The first piece
The
of
first piece of
information we should
information
put
we
in
should
a
put
cover letter
in a cover
is why
letter
we're
is
writing.
why we're writing.
Very good. Give me some examples. Give me some examples, please. I am writing to
I'm
apply
writing
for
to
the
apply
position
for
of.
the position of.
I am writing
I am
to
writing
inquire
to
whether you
inquire
have
whether
any
you have
vacancies.
any vacancies.
Very good. What else should we say in the introduction paragraph? What else should we say in the introduction paragraph? In the
In the
introduction paragraph,
introduction
we
paragraph,
should also
we should
say
also
where
say
and when
where
we
and
saw
when
the
we
advert
saw the
for the
advert
position,
of the position,
if appropriate.
if appropriate.
Very good. In the main paragraph of the letter, how can we persuade the reader to consider our application? In the main paragraphs of the letter, how can we persuade the reader to consider our application? In the main
In the
paragraph
main
of the
paragraph
letter,
of the
we can
letter,
persuade the
we can
reader
persuade the
to
reader
consider
to
our
consider our
application by
application
highlighting
by
and
highlighting and
summarizing any
summarizing any
particularly relevant
particularly
experience
relevant
and
experience
skill
and
from
skills
our
from
CV,
our
and
CV,
by showing
and by showing
enthusiasm for the
enthusiasm
company
or the
and job.
company a job.
Very good. What else can we mention? What else can we mention? We can mention
We can
any
mention
relevant
any
abilities
relevant
and
abilities
personal
and
qualities
personal
we have.
qualities we have.
Very good. What should we say in the conclusion to the letter? What should we say in the conclusion to the letter? In the conclusion
In the
to the letter,
conclusion to
we
the
should
letter,
thank the
we should
company
thank the company
for considering
for
our
considering
application
our
and
application
mention
and
our
mention our
availability for
availability
an interview.
or an interview.
Very good. And that's the end of our revision. Let's have new one.
Mhm,
Very good, very
mhm.
fast.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's start. Here we go. First
Mhm, mhm.
is on the back burner.
On the back corner.
Very good. Okay, listen.
Mhm,
On the back burner is an
mhm.
idiom. It means left for the present time to be done or considered later. Okay. For example, organizing the summer conference isn't really a priority at the moment. So let's put that at the back burner for a while. Okay, let's practice. What do we mean when we say a project is on the back burner? What do we mean when we say a project is on the back burner? When we say a
When we
project
say
is
a
on the
project
back
is on
burner,
the back
we
burner,
mean we
we
have
mean
stopped
we have
working
stopped
on the
working
project
on the project
temporarily because
temporarily
there is
because
other
there is
more
other
important work
more important
that
work
needs doing.
that needs doing.
Very good. Give me an example of on the back burner. Give me an example of on the back burner, please. Okay, organizing. The
Organizing
summer
the
conference
summer
isn't
conference
really a
is recent,
priority at the moment. Oh,
recent, なんだっけ
One more. The
organizing
summer
the
conference
summer conference
isn't really
isn't
a
really
priority
a
at the moment.
priority at the
So
moment.
let's put that
So let's
on
put
the back
down on the
burner
back
for a
burner
while.
or well.
Very good. Okay, now let's have business structures.
Uh-huh.
Okay, repeat. Sole trader,
Sole trader,
register,
register,
entity,
entity,
liable.
liable.
Okay, very good. Okay, listen.
Mhm,
When we first start a business, we have to register it with the government. When we do
mhm,
this, we have to state how the business is structured.
mhm,
There are several different types of business structures, but one very simple way to operate it is a sole trader.
mhm,
A sole trader is a self-employed person, such as a freelancer or shop owner, who runs their own business. The business person and the business are not separated legal entities. So the sole trader is personally liable for all the bills and debts of the company. A sole trader can hire staff, but only the sole trader is responsible for the business. Let's practice. Give
mhm.
me some examples of occupations where people often operate as sole trader. Give me some examples of occupations where people often operate as sole trader. Some examples
Some
of
examples of
occupations where
occupation
people
where
often
people
operates as
operate.
sole traders
Also
are
trader,
plumber,
plumber,
freelance journalist,
freelance, 何
freelance journalist,
freelance journalist,
electrician, etc.
electrician, etc.
Very good. Next, repeat on hold.
On hold,
Hang up.
hang up.
Very good. Okay, listen. On
Mhm,
hold is a phrasal verb. It
mhm,
means in the state of waiting to speak to someone on the telephone. For example, the person I wanted to speak to wasn't available. So the operator put my call on hold for 10 minutes. Hang up is a phrasal verb. It means to end the telephone connection by turning the telephone off.
mhm,
In our time, we put the telephone down, right?
mhm,
Okay,
mhm.
now we just press the button. For example, I'm generally prepared to wait on hold during a phone call for about 10 minutes before deciding to hang up and try phoning again. Let's practice. How long are you generally prepared to wait on hold during a phone call before deciding to hang up and try phoning again? How long are you generally prepared to wait on hold during a phone call before deciding to hang up and try phoning again? I am generally prepared
I'm generally
to wait
prepared
on
to
hold
wait on
during a
hold
phone call
during a phone
for
call
about
about 5 seconds
oh, very short before deciding
before deciding
to hang up and try
to
phoning
hang up
again and
and
try
try phone
phoning
and
again.
try phoning again.
Okay,
Yeah,
one more.
sure.
I'm generally
I'm
prepared to
generally
wait on
prepared to
hold
wait on hold
during a phone call
during a phone
for
call
about 5
for about
seconds
5 seconds
before deciding
before
to hang up
deciding to hang
and
up
try phoning
and
again.
try phone again.
Very good. Okay, next repeat direct cost,
Direct cost,
indirect cost,
indirect cost,
total cost,
total cost,
packaging.
packaging.
Very good. Okay, listen. Direct
Mhm,
costs are any costs that relate directly to the product of a specific product, such as the cost of raw materials, labor, packaging, etc. So that's the direct cost. It affects directly the product. Indirect cost, on the other hand, refers to costs that do not relate directly to the product or the production of a specific product, but are shared across the whole company. They include cost of rent of the factory, heating cost, electricity, and overheads. Okay, when the direct cost and indirect cost for a particular product are considered together in total, we use the term total cost. Okay, so let's practice. When a manufacturing company is considering its cost for a specific product, what does the term direct cost refer to? When a manufacturing company is considering its cost for a specific product, what does the term direct cost refer to? When a manufacturing
when a
company,
when a when
manufacturing
manufacturing
company
company
is considering
is
its cost
considering its
for a
cost
specific
for a
product,
specific
the term
product,
direct
the term
cost
the direct cost
refers to any
refers
cost
to any
that
cost
relates
that
directly
related
to the
directly to
production
the
of a
production
specific
of
product.
the specific
A
product,
specific product,
a specific
very
product,
good, such as the
such
cost
as
of raw
the cost of
materials,
raw materials,
labor,
labor,
packaging, etc.
packaging, etc.
Very good. And what does the term indirect cost refer to? And what does the term indirect cost refer to? The term
The
indirect
term
cost
indirect
refers
cost
to costs
refers to
that do not
cost
relate
that do not
directly
relate
to the
directly
production
to the
of a
production
specific
of the
product.
specific and
Spe- specific product
specific production
that are shared
that are shared
across the whole
across
company.
the whole company.
Very good. Give me some examples of indirect cost. Give me some examples of indirect cost, please. Some examples
Some
of indirect
examples of
cost
indirect
are
cost
overheads
are
such as
overheads
rent,
such as rent,
heating, insurance
heating,
cost,
insurance cost,
etc.
etc.
Very good. When the direct and indirect costs for a particular product are considered together, which term do we use? When the direct and indirect costs for a particular product are considered together, which term do we use? When the direct
When the
and
direct
indirect
and
costs
indirect
for a
cost
particular
of a
product
particular
are
product
considered
are
together,
considered
we use
together,
the
we use
term
the
total
term
cost.
or total cost.
Very good. Let's repeat: wholesale,
Wholesale,
resell,
resale,
in bulk.
in bulk.
Very good. Okay, listen, wholesale is a noun. It
Mm,
means the business of selling things in large amounts to other businesses rather than to individual customers. For example, my mother makes money by purchasing goods from producers and then selling them to retailers as a profit. Resell is a verb. It means to sell something that you bought. For example, he repaired the motorcycle and resold it for a profit. In bulk is a phrase. It means in large containers or in large amounts. For example, the restaurants buy rice and flour in bulk, so they buy large bags and sacks of rice. Let's practice. How does a wholesaler make money? How does a wholesaler make money? A wholesaler
a
makes money
wholesaler makes
by
money
purchasing
by
goods
purchasing
in
goods
bulk
in
from
bulk
producers
from
and then
producers
reselling
and
them
then reselling
to
them
retailers
to
at a
retailers
profit.
at the profit.
Very good. Next will be the feedback.
Feedback,
Pop up.
pop up.
Very good. Okay, listen.
Mm,
Feedback is a noun. It means helpful information or criticism that is given to someone to say that can be done to improve a performance, a product, etc. Feedback. For example, it's important for bosses to give employees regular feedbacks on their performance because positive feedbacks motivates people, and an employee is more likely to perform better if they are told which aspect of their work they need to improve. Pop up is a phrasal verb. It means to appear in usually a sudden or unexpected way. For example, on a website in the computer internet, sometimes a window pops up asking us to take part in a survey. This is to obtain feedback regarding our opinion on the website or to discover information about us for marketing purposes. Let's practice. Why is it important for bosses to give employees regular feedback on their performance? Why is it important for bosses to give employees regular feedback on their performance? It's important
It's
for bosses
important
to
for
give
bosses to
employees
give the
regular
employees
feedbacks
regular
on their
feedbacks on
performance
their
because
performance
positive
because
feedback
positive feedback
motivates people
motivate
and
people
an
and
employee
an
is
employee
more
is
likely to
more
perform
likely to
better
perform
if
better
they're told
if they are
which
told
aspect
which
of their work
aspect of
they
the
need
work
to
they
improve.
need to improve
On a website, sometimes a window
on.
pops up making asking us to take part in a survey. What's the normal purpose of such survey? On a website, sometimes a window pops up asking us to take part in a survey. What's the normal purpose of such survey? The normal
The
purpose
normal
of
purpose
such
of
survey
such a
is to
survey
obtain
is to
feedback
obtain feedback
regarding our
regarding
opinion
our
of the
opinion
website
of the
or to
website
discover
or to discover
information about us
information about
for
us
marketing
for
purposes.
marketing purposes.
Very good. Okay, next, last one. Carry out.
Mm. Peri- mm,
Ca-
Period.
Carry out.
carry out.
Very good. Okay. Okay, listen.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so carry out is a phrasal verb. It means to do something that you said you would do or that someone has asked you to do, like an errand, carry out. For example, in my opinion, an employee should not carry out instructions, especially if they feel that they're being asked to do is unethical. Let's practice. In your
Mhm.
opinion, should an employee carry out instructions even if they feel that what they're being asked to do is unethical? In your opinion, should an employee carry out instructions even if they feel that what they're being asked to do is unethical? Yes or no?
No,
In my opinion,
in my
an
opinion,
employee
an
shouldn't
employee
carry
should
out
carry out
instructions even if
instructions even
they
if
feel that
they feel
they're
that
being asked
they're being
to
asked
do is
to do
unethical.
is unethical.
Very good. Okay, so now let's move on to reading.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Okay, so our reading ended at page 19. Last headword was number. Okay, start at the question, what's 1.75 express?
Mm-hmm. What's 1.75 expressed as a fraction? 1.75 expressed as a fraction is 1 and 3 quarters. In the number 9300, which punctuation mark do you use to separate to the digit 9 from the digit 3? In the number 9300, we use comma to separate the digit 9 from the
The digit
di-
3.
digit 3.
Very good.
What's the best interest rate one could expect to get from a saving account at the moment? The best interest rate one could expect to get from a saving account at the moment is about 0.002%.
Mhm.
And if you borrowed 5,000 pounds from a bank now, what interest rate would you expect to be charged? If I borrowed 5,000 pounds from a bank now, I'd expect to be charged an interest rate of 5%.
Mhm.
Huh? Mm. Stock market, stock exchange, stock capital, float, issue. Which is the largest stock exchange in the world? The New York Stock Exchange is the largest stock exchange in the world. How does floating on the stock market provide a company with capital to grow? Floating on the stock market
A company.
provides a company with the capital to grow because the company obtains money from selling the shares it issues.
Mhm.
Shelf life. Which of these two food products would you expect to have the longest shelf life? A packet of biscuits or a tin of baked beans? Of those two food products, I'd expect to have the longest shelf life. Uh, mm,
I'd expect
uh,
which one?
I'd
A
ex-
tin of
I'd ex- I'd ex- a tin of the
baked
baked
beans
beans
to have.
to have the longest shelf life.
Very good.
間違ってたね。
Okay, start at page 22.
Training boost scheme. If you owned a department store, which do you think would boost sales more efficiently, spending on advertising or spending on training for sales staff? If I owned a department store, I think spending on training for sales staff would boost
Sale.
sales more efficiently.
Very good.
What kind of companies more normally run annual training schemes for new graduates? The kind of companies
Normally
that normally run
run annual
annual training schemes for new graduates. That
are big
違う
companies.
big companies that know They'll have a large number of positions available.
Very good. Okay, so we
Mhm.
stop there for today, but very good,
Okay.
reading, very good dictation,